So welcome. What are we going to do in this live stream is we're going to be looking at some budget and high-end PCs you can actually build during this Black Friday like season or weekend. So if you're looking to upgrade or want to get something budget to maybe start editing video, starting to, build your creative business or something like that, then here are like the two PCs you can actually build. Now all the links are going to be linked in the description below if you watch this later as well, so you can find all the links in there. Even if you're watching this outside of US or UK, you should be able to find these links like globally. They're smart links. They will take you to your local shop. They are affiliate links, so if you purchase them with no extra cost to you, I will get a small commission that will help this channel to get going and keep this helpful content going live. Thanks all the guys who are watching live. We can see people from India, Switzerland, Philippines, Vietnam. Nice to see you all people around the world. So with no further ado, let's start with the build. Before we're gonna actually go into the first budget build, I want to address a question that you might have. Is it worth building yourself one PC or get a pre-built? And the answer is very simple. Build yourself your own, because it's still going to end up being the better build. First of all, cheaper and better quality components. I've looked through these PCs that you can build now, that I have linked in the description, as well as what we're going to be going through and why these PCs. But you can build this PC and actually have it cheaper and have very high quality components. If you look at some of the pre-builds, they have like only the GPU is like good GPU and the rest of the parts are usually bad, or often the case is very cheap and very bad airflow, which just it's not going to be good in the long run. But in this case, what we're going to be doing is some of the parts are very like future proof. You can upgrade them later in the future or take these parts with you to the future. So I'm very excited about this because they're budget things, and we've tried actually some of these things on my channel. So let's jump right in and let's start talking about this PC then. So first of all, we're going to go through the budget PC first. And the budget PC, what we have over here is first of all, the CPU. And the CPU, what we're going to be going for is the Intel i5 11600K. Oh, and it's taken me actually to the UK shop, but I should be actually in the US. Okay, this has gone wrong a little bit. So Amazon.com. So if you're watching this from Amazon US, that's what we're going to be doing now. If we go 11600K, there we go. Have a look at this one. So first of all, the CPU is $219. This is cheaper than on Newegg and anywhere else. I found this on Amazon. This is insane price for this CPU. And if you're a creator, the awesome thing about this is because it's got iGPU inside, it's got video encoders built into the CPU, you don't necessarily need a graphics card to actually edit video with this CPU, which is absolutely fantastic. I've got one over there and I was seriously impressed with the performance. And now when the Premiere Pro has updated its update, it's now Premiere Pro 2020, it actually gives you hardware acceleration with the H.265 codecs, which is fantastic. If you're using any of those codecs, this is going to be an awesome like budget CPU. And look, it costs only $219. For that, you can get any 4K editing done. Anything under that, absolutely breeze. So this will like go a long way for you. And next up, we're going to be looking through this Z590 motherboard, and I'm going to have to find this again on the Amazon Amazon.uk. Okay, let's have a look. What was it? Amazon Z590 Pro Wi-Fi motherboard, because it's taken me to my local shop. That just shows us how the smart links are working. So, okay, here we go. This is what we found for the Amazon listing for the motherboard. Oh, there we go. Actually, I've got all these parts in the cart. No, this is the higher end build. So we're going to leave this for now. What's it doing? No, let's go back. So for the motherboard, we're going for the MSI Z590 Pro Wi-Fi motherboard. So you've got all the features you basically need to get going and the future upgradability, really, but not so much. I would just stick with this CPU and this like build until you need to upgrade the whole thing, because when you upgrade, you might want to go with like the next generation of CPUs, which this platform doesn't support. But for just to get going, it's a fantastic one. So you've got Wi-Fi and Bluetooth built in, which is awesome. You got 2.5 gig LAN over here as well, which is very, very good. You've got 4 RAM slots. You've got actually 3 M.2 SSD slots. Come on, they're PCIe 4 capable as well. You've got front panel USB-C. Honestly, this is very, very good motherboard. For $160, you're not going to find anything better than that. It's a really, really, really good build. Next off, what we're going to be looking for is the cooler. So what cooler are we going to be using? And for cooler, we're going to be using Arctic Freezer 34, this one over here. Boom. For cooler, with this extra 20% off over here as well, you can get this cooler for about $40. And this cooler is absolutely fantastic. I have one, oh, it's packed in a little bit down there. I have one over here, we tested it, and it really, really is impressive for the price. I'm not sure you can get anything better, especially with the deal on over here. For $40, I'm not sure there is anything better. It was even able to keep really the 12900K calm. So for 11600K, this is going to be a fantastic cooler. And you can take this to your future builds because it really works very well, very well. It's also very quiet. There is a few color options here as well if you want to choose a different color or something like that, even white version available. Very, very good option over there. Then for the SSD, what like the drive are we going to be using? We're going to be using Crucial P2 NVMe over here, and the 1 terabyte in size, which over here is $83, and that's an insane price for NVMe drive that's 1 terabyte in size. So this is going to be our OS drive. If you need like a project drive or some more storage, just get another one of these and plug them into the motherboard, and this is going to be absolutely fine. The speeds are 2.4 and 1.9 gigabytes per second. They're not like the fastest NVMe drives, but they're still like 5 times faster as SATA SSD. So you're going to be absolutely fine editing any 4K footage with these SSDs. Next of what is the RAM? The RAM we're going to be using is Team Group Vulcan Z 32 gigabytes DDR4. Where are you? No, like I said, Vulcan C. There is one that was actually, the gray one was, I think, $94 should be. There we go. This RAM, it's 32 gigabytes, which is plenty of RAM to get you going, even with your creative tasks that need a lot of, RAM to get going. Because 16 gigabytes is a little bit small. You could go with 16 gigabytes as well, but you're not going to save that much money, but the performance is going to be like much lower. 32 gigabytes is like a nice beginning spot, and you can later upgrade this to 64 by getting double of these, which is fantastic. It's 3200 megahertz CL16. It's just like a fantastic combination. Very good high quality RAM. As you can see, I have purchased this and we use this in our Threadripper build as well. But it's just really good RAM. And look at this, $94 for 32 gigabytes. It's absolutely insane. So let me see what, yeah, there we go. We have to go for the power supply now. What power supply are we going to be using? MSI PSU 850 watts. Now you might be thinking 850 watts. This is a little bit too much over here. Why can't I find this? Okay, because it's Amazon.com. MSI 850 watt PSU. There we go, this one over here. For $94, we're going to get 80 plus gold watt power supply. It's going to be 850 watts. It's 10-year warranty. If you know a power supply can give you 10-year warranty, that means it's a good power supply basically, because they're confident in their parts and everything. It's like a budget. Look how little it costs, and this has fully modular as well, by the way. You can put like even 3090 in the system if you have this power supply, and you can carry this forward for a long time. $94 down from 140. This is insane deal. Absolutely fantastic, and this is going to power our system. It is a little bit of an overkill, but because it's such a good deal at the moment, you can actually get this, you know, in your next build as well. And it's just fantastic. If you go anywhere lower than that, you're not going to save that much, but it's going to be massively different over there. Now we've got the power supply, and the last thing we need is the case. And for the case, we're going to be going with Corsair 4000D. Oops. 4000D, not 400D. As you can see, this case over here, and that case costs only $75. And you might be thinking, hey, there's not a lot of airflow. Actually, the airflow is completely fine over here. There's a massive gap on both sides. And even if you have like the airflow or the not solid front panel versions of this an airflow case, it's not going to be much difference. There's plenty of air to go through from the sides. It's absolutely fine. You get 2 fans with the case as well. It's a very high quality case. You can fit all your stuff in there, and for this much high quality, it's not going to be that much better. You can actually swap out the case as well with the higher end build if you wanted to, but I think this is like the best case over there. And then now that concludes our build, and this build is going to cost you $788 or something like that. Now, this is a really, really good build now. You don't have to actually have a GPU in order to get this going. But what you can do is add a GPU as well. And if you really need the GPU, you know, here's some of the options. But bear in mind, it's not necessary to get going. If you really want to get it on a budget, you don't have to get a GPU. So just use this build that I have linked in the description below, and then you can have it for $788 for this Black Friday. That's a ridiculous price for that much. If you look at the pre-builds with the same configurations, they're a few $100s more expensive with worse cases and worse parts in there. This is really, really, really good. Now, let's have a look at some of the graphics cards then. You can go and find some of the options like on the Newegg website. There's lots of graphics cards over there, but you might be thinking, flipping heck, the graphics card is going to cost as much as my whole build. And that's the situation over here. You can get a graphics card in there and your editing experience is going to be better. Can add quite a good few, you know, percentages over there, 20, 30, 40% better depending on what you do. But if you need one, here's some of the suggestions I have for you over there. It's going to get me into the US or UK site. So I want to go on the US one. Okay, what we're going to be doing is, by the way, if you haven't seen like my other Black Friday deals, I have done other streams on the channel this week. Feel free to check them out over there. You can see there's 2 of these streams. There's awesome deals on Newegg and Amazon all of this weekend. If you want to build any of the PCs or get upgrade parts, I'm going through loads of different parts over there. So feel free to check them out over there. But what I'm going to do is we're going to go to here so I can show you some of these parts then for the GPU. Okay, let's do this. Actually, do you know what? With the GPUs, you can go and find them out in the description below. I'm not going to actually go through them because, but basically the 1650 that costs like $300 and something. That's going to get you like about 1,300 or something like that dollars, $1,200. And then it's going to be quite a good, you know, video editing system. You know, 1650 isn't like a really good. I think it's 1650 Ti even. No, 1650, it's not like the best graphics card, but it can accelerate your editing experience and things like that. No problem over there. But do you know what? What I want you to do is really think if you need that graphics card. If you're going to go with the graphics card for the budget build, I'd recommend you either go for the option 1, which is the 1650, or just go with like RTX 3060 or 3070, which is going to add like another $1,000 for your system if you can. But here's what we can. And by the way, why are we going with Intel build on this one? It's because the iGPU inside is much better than the Ryzen 5600X, for example. It gives you video encoding and hardware acceleration for your codec. So if you're a video editor, it's going to be a much better bit for you. So, any Ryzen APUs good for editing? They are good, but I think the QuickSync is a little bit better, works with, editing much better than the Ryzen one, especially with the latest update. It gives you Premiere Pro. I know I did the review of the 5700G Ryzen APU, but then since then there's been an update on Premiere Pro, which I think actually gives an edge to the Intel APUs. So I'd recommend you go with these ones because they're cheaper, especially with this 11600K, $220. It's insane price. So now let's have a look at the high-end build now. Let's say you are serious about editing and you are editing on some kind of old system and you want something really, really good now. Then this Black Friday, you can actually build yourself a system for around $2,000. What did I put this in the description below? It says $2,300. And that's going to be an insane build for you. And you're going to save a few $100s just because it's Black Friday over here. So for the CPU, now we're going with the Ryzen system. This is 5900X, and I know a lot of people already said on the comments you have picked this up during this Black Friday, but this is like an absolute insane CPU. 12 cores, 24 threads. It chews through any footage you pretty much throw at it, even at 8K footage red raw. Feel free to check some of these videos out on my channel. It's absolutely insane and very good price at the moment as well. Obviously I have the UK price over here, but in the US it's discounted as well. It's the lowest it's ever been. It's a really, really, really good build. So next of all, for the motherboard, which motherboard are we going to go? Sorry, this is the wrong price here in the UK. In the US, this is on a much better deal at the moment. So if you're watching this from the US, it just, the smart links are taking me to the UK because I'm based in the UK. But if you're in the US or Canada or something like that, it will take you to a much better place over there. But this build over here is a fantastic motherboard. You've got 4 M.2 storage, okay? There are PCIe 4.0 capable as well, if you need those. I think one of them is PCIe 4.0 and then the rest of them are PCIe 3.0, or maybe 2 of them are PCIe 4.0, but it's going to give you plenty of storage. 4, that's insane. Then you're going to have very good like VRAMs and power stages to run your high-end CPU. You got 4 RAM slots, up to 128 gigabytes of RAM, front panel USB-C, and you have even Wi-Fi and Bluetooth built in. Look at that. All this I/O on the back is fantastic. 2.5 gig LAN as well, USB-C port, USB Type A ports. Honestly, it's amazing motherboard, very high-end. I don't think you need to upgrade anytime soon if you're gonna go with this one. Next off, we want to go with the cooling. What cooler are we going to be using? Again, the price is a little bit off over here, but the price in the US is much, much different. And this in the US goes for just over $100, and this is the best cooler you can get for your system. Your system's going to run super quiet, super cool. It's one of the best coolers you can get. 6-year warranty as well, I think. I've got one over there, and I'm waiting for another case to come to do a personal rig update with this cooler because it is really, really, really good cooler. Feel free to watch like Gamers Nexus review of this one. It just ranks right on top of the charts if you want to get with this one, especially when you get 20% off or 15% off something on the Amazon US. It's a killer deal. For the SSD, we're going to be using exactly the same hard drive or SSD. In the US, UK at the moment, look at that. It's even cheaper. £61, for something like that. I might have to get some because this is ridiculous price over here for an NVMe for this much. But in the US, it's like $83, something like that, because the pound is worth a little bit more at the moment. Fantastic drive to get you going. If you need any more, you've got plenty of M.2 storage options on your motherboard to occupy them. Go for this one. It's really, really good. I also recommend you check out my other deal videos for the Amazon and Newegg, because there's some other NVMe option deals over there. If you maybe budget is a little bit more flexible, there's some higher speed ones that you can go and check out on my channel, and higher capacity ones, and maybe some of the even lower capacity ones worth checking out. But the links for all of this stuff is in the description below. For the RAM, we're going to be using the same RAM as on the budget one because there isn't anything better over there. Obviously here, again, in the UK, it gives me a ridiculous price. But there is 64 gigabytes and 32 gigabyte versions available. The 32 gigabyte version is going to be a great start for you, but I think 64 gigabytes, if your budget allows there, gives you really a lot more flexibility, especially if you're working with 4K, 6K, like higher projects on the timeline. It consumes a little bit more RAM. If you're doing multitasking with your 12 core, the RAM is going to be used for different, applications. I can easily see more than 32 gigabytes used on my system, and I've got 64 gigabytes installed on my system. So if you can go with 64, and then you can later upgrade it to 128 gigabytes, but at the same time, the 32 gigabytes is absolutely fine as well if you want to get that and later upgrade this to the double 64 gigabytes. Is 3600 CL16 worth it? Not really, because the price is so much higher. You'll pay about 160% of the price compared to this 3200 CL16. So the 3600 megahertz will give you extra, like maybe 1-2% or something like that, but you pay extra 40% of the price or something like that. Depends. If you find a very good deal of the RAM, go with the 3600, but at the moment it's not worth it because you're going to have a lower latency as well sometimes with 3600. So let's have a look. How much is 3600? Yeah, look, you're paying extra about 15 quid or something like that, which is not worth it. As you can see, lower RAM is better. For the power supply, we're going to be going with the same MSI power supply, which is the 850 watt power supply. In the UK, it's discounted as well, but in the US, it's a ridiculous deal. $94 for something like that. Absolutely amazing. Definitely worth going. Look, in the UK, the RM750 is an even better deal. Feel free to check them out. So that power supply is really good because it gives you a lot of future upgradability. It also powers your motherboard because that motherboard needs an extra 6-pin like power for your motherboard to power all those M.2 slots. So there's plenty for this to do over here. And for the case over here, now we're going to go with a little bit of a different case. This case in the US at the moment, if you go with the links below, if you're watching from the US, it costs $99, which is insane. It's a fantastic airflow case. We can fit all of our radiator in the front over there, 360 millimeters. There's plenty of airflow over there. We can use the included fan on the top as an exhaust, and your components are going to run really cool. It looks fantastic. It's very good airflow. Yeah, there's expandability. Your GPU will fit in there. It's just very, very good. It's very quiet as well. And for the price, $99, I'm not sure you can get like a better GPU, or sorry, a case for that amount of money. And now comes like the heartbeat of, again, GPU now with the high-end system. The thing is, with the high-end system, you do need a GPU to get this system running because it doesn't have an iGPU, so you need a GPU. And here's some of the options then. The options are the same as on the previous ones, but what I would suggest you to go for is something a little bit higher, because if your budget allows, about $1,000 is the best spot where you can get a GPU. So you can find lots of different GPUs over here, 3060 over here. But I think the 3070, here's one over here, is the best kind of sweet spot. If you pay this extra $1,000 over here, oh, sorry, there we go. Extra $1,000 and $1,071. This is a fantastic graphics card, okay? I'm running this in my system. I'm editing 6K, multicam timelines. It is plenty for you to do any editing, even some of the 8K editing. If you have flexible budget and you can, go for a little bit higher, then I've got a 3090 in the description there as well. And you think, whoa, 3090 is very expensive. Actually, 3090s I think are the best value cards when you compare to the other generation cards. For example, Titan RTX was $2.5 grand, but the 3090s scalper prices at the moment are $3 grand. And for that extra $500, you get a lot more performance from the 3090 than the Titan RTX that was on the previous generation. So I think that 3090 is actually very well balanced in terms of price and what we previously paid for our stuff. But 3070 is a fantastic card over here to go for. And altogether, you're going to have like $2,300 system for your build. If you want to save a little bit of money, there are some like lower options of GPUs, but I think you're not going to spend so much less on a GPU there than you have for the 3070, but the performance is going to be much, much lower, especially like the 16 series cards. They're so overpriced. Like they're half the price of the 3070, but less than half of the performance, if that makes sense. It's absolutely insane. Marky Sale just said, good morning everybody who are just tuning in. Would you take advantage of the current prices, or would you suggest waiting a bit more into 2022? I think the a lot of the storage and the CPUs might be, I think the motherboards and the storage are gonna go back to the normal price, and the some of the coolers and cases, they're gonna go back to the normal price. So I wouldn't wait for those in 2022. You might get like some other deals and other main components might go down, but the GPU steals and other things, honestly, I think it's a really good time to build, in my opinion, right now, just because there is still stock, because NVIDIA, I think, has, I can't like promise this for sure, but there are rumors that they have stopped the production for the 30 series cards because they're preparing for the 40 series cards. That means that they're, you know, the GPU prices are going to hike up until the 40 series launch. So who knows when that is going to be. But I think these two, if you need to work or get started, are absolutely fantastic builds. I have left all the links in the description below, so feel free to check those out. I am extremely excited actually about the budget build, because this, I was just so impressed with the 11600K performance. So it's absolutely fantastic. Actually, in fact, you can also go with a 12600K, because I've got a review coming up on the channel about that, because that performance is absolutely insane. Just a little sneak peek about the 12600K if you are familiar with this channel. The 12600K, by the way, gets higher scores on Premiere Pro than the 5950X. Say that again? Yes, the 12600K has higher scores in Premiere Pro than the 5950X Ryzen 9 16-core monster. The 12600K has better scores. What? What? Yes, absolutely. So I'm gonna leave this right now here, because there's other video coming published on the channel later on as well, so I don't want to get this. New best GPU is i5 12600K Bacanuava. Says yes, absolutely right. It is absolutely so. There is 2 more PC builds on my channel that I actually streamed yesterday, but because the stream went all bonkers and internet went, I'm going to leave the links of all of those builds in the description as well. There is another 11600K build with slightly different components, and another 5950X build in there, so feel free to check them out in the description below. Thank you very much, guys, for watching. As always, I'm here all about the game. I'm all about giving you the best bang for buck for your system. So if you're interested in Creator PCs, feel free to subscribe on the channel. Hit that like button. It actually makes a difference. It actually helps this video to reach other people. And I'll see you very, very soon. Thanks, guys, for watching. Bye-bye.